Hi everyone, and welcome to my first review of 2020. For my first season this year, I'm going to be reviewing a lot of the Galaxy's Edge lightsabers. How many, you may be wondering? That many. It's a lot. These are hilts that you can buy at Doc Ondar's on Bontu, which is the planet where Galaxy's Edge takes place, the parks in either Disney World or Disneyland. These are different than the lightsabers that you can build in the parks, the ones built at Savvy's Junk Shop. During that experience, you get to pick out your theme, your kyber crystal, and parts, and I will be doing some reviews of those in a later video. The Legacy Sabers, on the other hand, are based on ones from the movies. This isn't the first time that we've had a higher quality, kind of screen-accurate lightsaber, and by high quality, I mean not plastic toys and not meant to be played with. Specifically, Hasbro has sold Black Series lightsabers, which were meant to be more quote-unquote screen-accurate. They also had a lot more metal than plastic. They're okay, and we're going to look at a few alongside the Legacy Sabers. Today, however, we're going to start with the saber called Luke's lightsaber. This hilt is based on the one that is shown in Return of the Jedi. The hilt Luke made after he lost his fight with Vader in Cloud City. Chops his hand off, lightsaber falls down the chute. You all know the story. One of the things I thought was interesting in doing research for this video is that, according to Wikipedia anyway, Luke's lightsaber in this version is very similar to Obi-Wan's third and final lightsaber. The ridges and thin emitter, for example, are very similar between the two. The canon reason for this, again, according to Wikipedia, is that Luke found instructions to build his saber in Obi-Wan's hut on Tatooine before rescuing Han from Jabba in the Return of the Jedi. And it's something neat. One of the first things you'll notice about the Legacy Sabers is they come in a special case. This is one of the perks, and it's a nice display case, though it has some drawbacks. You do get the cool symbol, so in this case it's green fur and it's green rebel symbol for Luke. But that said, the rest of the case, while having some cool greebling and nice things going on, it's just a plain gray. It's fairly generic. My bet is somebody out there is going to figure out how to paint and weather these to look amazing, but off the shelf, these are what I would call fine. They're not spectacular, but they're not horrible either. That's until you get under the tray. Under this tray is 2 pieces of styrofoam and a plastic insert, and the insert is to hold the spare piece. Not all Legacy Sabers have stuff under here, so you don't have to go under here all the time, but it's definitely noticeable. You're just working with plastic. It's just a cheap feeling to it. I don't really know what would make this better. Maybe if it was all styrofoam? Yeah, I don't know. It's tough to say. And again, it's not like you can avoid looking under the cloth. You have to get some of the components out. So we're going to set the case aside, and I probably won't do many reviews of the cases because, quite frankly, most of the cases are the same. So we'll close that up. We will slide that over. We will grab a lightsaber stand. Now this is a lightsaber stand that is purchasable at Doc Ondar's as well. And they sell these for around 30 bucks. I actually do like this stand. Get the camera a little centered. There we go. I do like this stand. It is very adjustable, it's very flexible, and I think it really presents the lightsabers really well. So let's take a look at the saber. The entire saber is metal, but it's fairly lightweight. I'm thinking aluminum, but I'm not a metal smith person thing. I definitely wouldn't duel with this though. It feels solid, but I would worry that if it took a hit, it would ding up really badly or break. I also think it's slightly bigger than what we see on screen. My guess is that's because they have to put the handle or the batteries in the handle, and you need that space for the battery pack. Maybe as technology furthers, we'll actually see the lightsabers get more to become screen accurate. That said, let's take a look at this saber along with the Black Series lightsaber from Hasbro, which I have here. All right. Lots of stuff in the way, so I'm trying to find a good place. You'll notice an immediate difference between the Black Series and the Legacy Saber. The emitter on the Legacy Saber is thinner, which is more screen accurate. Yeah. Hasbro had to make their emitter bigger because they're using an LED saber blade, and it has to plug in all the way in to connect to the electronics. So much thicker blade or much thicker emitter to support the blade. And that's a downside to the Legacy Saber. If you look at the emitter On the thin neck, it's just a blank panel. That one really took me for a second. I was like, wait, what? How do I, but blade even, how, does, why, even? If you want to put the blade in it, you have to swap out this emitter for a bigger unit. It's easy to do, and it's a little cumbersome, but it's obviously because the blades that Disney's using are have LEDs in them, similar to like the Plector Pixel blades or NeoPixel blades from other blade providers. Since the LEDs are in the blade, they have to have more electronics to connect to. If you look at some of the third-party Luke's lightsabers that are out there, they get around this by putting in the LED in the emitter and then using that to light the blade. Since Disney wants you to use their proprietary blade, which I believe can only be used with their sabers, you have to have a larger hole to put it in. So we unscrewed the thin neck piece and we'll put on the larger one. So comes off really easy. I apologize for headphone users. It is a bit squeaky. It's metal on metal. But we pop this on. And now you can see we have a hole. And one thing that Disney does that I do like is they put a little cap in here to protect electronics. So you can see here, the cap just pops out. It does add a bit of weight. The thin emitter is obviously, the thin emitter is obviously going to be lighter than the thick one. And I'll be honest, I think this looks ugly. It doesn't look screen accurate. It bugs me. I don't like it. If we compare it, and I'll set the stand aside, and we'll put the Black Series out here, and we put the Legacy next to it. Don't fall. We don't want to break people's ears. There we go. Move the camera. You'll see that they're about the same size, and now they're much more closer in appearance. There are some differences in the quality of the metal. The Legacy Saber obviously is much shinier. It has a better sheen to it. This is fine, but it's not as shiny. The whole hilt is shinier. The emitter is gold here, where this feels like it's a painted dark red. The switch boxes are fairly similar, though again, we're more gold here, where this is more red to match the emitter. And then one of the most surprising changes is that on the Legacy Saber here, the red and green triangles are not as dark, and they're also swapped. You'll see here it's green and red on the Black Saber. Let's see, what do we want to talk about next? Also, important thing to note, Black Series, blade doesn't come out. So if you want to display them without the blade, you have to go with the Legacy. The blades for the Legacy Sabers are all the same. You do have to buy them separately at Doc Ondars. They don't come with them. This is a 36-inch. I mean, it's a blade. I don't think there's any wow factor here. This one costs around $50, I believe. And they're keyed, you'll see, so that because they're made to only go in one way. So we will do that now. And you'll see as I put this into Legacy Saber, you can see it doesn't go down any further, and you just kind of turn it until the keys match. Here, it's still not going in, so we go turn, 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 and it finally drops in. We're going to slide it down, and you'll hear a noise once I get it down. And then I'm going to give it a quarter twist, and that locks the blade in place. Come down here, flip the switch on, and it has a good bright green, and the sound is crisp without being too loud. Very nice. Fire up the Black Series as a comparison. Get these settled, and then try to see if you can see the difference on the blades. Maybe not with this camera. You can definitely hear the difference. You can notice the difference. The Black Series has a bit of a grittier sound to it. It's got more of a raggedy sound to it. It's not as smooth as a Legacy Saber. The Legacy Saber is also a darker green. It's still brighter in my opinion, but it's more of a fuller, richer green than the Black Series. Another thing to note, so if I take the Black Series, so we have We have whooshing, we have flashing, but no flashing. So we have a normal kind of, you know, early saber. The Legacy Saber, however, it has a swoosh, but the swoosh sound is delayed. And that's common to all the Legacy Sabers. One of the theories on Reddit is that you can swap out the batteries to fix this. I have swapped out the batteries, it still does it. It does have a flash on flash, but again, it's very, if I can get it here to show up, it is very slow to react. I'm not sure why that is. I'm not sure if that's something that'll be fixed in later versions, but there's definitely a delay in the sound. So how do you swap out the batteries? This is actually quite clever, and I like this mechanism, which is why I want to show it off. Take the pommel and unscrew it, and the speaker and battery compartment will come right out. You can see that. They just slide right out, super easy. They actually connect to the electronics with 4 pins. If you want to swap out the battery, you unscrew this screw right here, slide the sheath out, put the batteries in, pop it back in, and you're good to go. It's also keyed, so it has to go in a specific way. But once you get it in there, you then just screw back on the pommel. Let's set the Black Series aside and do a little bit of wrap up while I return it back to the thin-necked model. You can see first thing I have to do is turn the blade and then pull it out. It gives me a noise letting me know it's fine. And here we go. To wrap up, I really like the Legacy version without the blade. Swapping out the emitter to add a blade, it's an okay gimmick, but it definitely ruins the as seen on-screen effect, and that's really what I wanted to get out of this. I want, the official on-screen lightsaber. I don't want, something that's kind of close, but not really that saber. Bring the stand back over here. Put that there. The good news for me, at least, is I don't plan on displaying the Legacy hilts with the blades in. So I'm actually okay with this. I'm going to leave this like this, and this will be how I display it. If you want to display it with the blades, just know that you're going to have to accept that you're going to have to use the thick-necked module. It still looks cool. I mean, it's a good color, and it's nice and solid, and the ridges are good on both of the units. It's just not screen accurate. At $139, to have a quote-unquote official loose lightsaber, I feel like it's a good deal and a great display piece. I think the black lightsabers are currently like $200 or $300 on Amazon. So I think it's a great display piece. I'm happy to have it in my collection. Love to hear your thoughts. I know these are kind of hard to get because you have to go to either Orlando or Anaheim and get to one of the parks to be able to pick them up. I don't know if I would recommend buying these off of eBay. I mean, I guess you can if you have the money, but they seem to be adding about $100 more. So I'd love to hear, what your comments are. The obvious other option is if you don't have to have the Disney official lightsaber, there's some great third-party lightsabers out there that match this, and you can be just as set. Let me know what you think in the comments. As always, I really appreciate you taking the time to watch my video, and I hope you have a great day.